Okay, so let me get started on our analysis breakdown of the targeting lock-on mechanic in the game For Honor. I know that I'm supposed to use two games, but unfortunately, I don't have a lot of space on my computer, and I don't have a lot of money in my bank account, so I can only do one. So let me start off with the basics of what we're going to be talking about, which is going to be the dynamics and the math behind a circle, which is the information that we're going to need to understand the definitions of the things that we're going to be talking about. So, if we look at these definitions here, we'll go over these later, and I'll be using these as references for what I'll be talking about. So let me move this over here, and we'll get the game up. Okay, so if we see in this game, this is the last game that I bought. Shows you how much time I have on my hands. So in between the player and the enemy is the origin point. The player is on one side of a chord, and the other side of that chord is the same distance from the enemy to the opposite side of the player, which would be over. Behind the enemy is the exact distance as in front of the enemy for this circle to exist. The chord from the player through the enemy to the other spot, that's the furthest spot of the circle, will increase and decrease in size as you move further or closer away to the player. As you make movements to the right or left, whether the enemy moves or not, it's going to turn that circle and create new tangents in between them from one spot to another, depending on if the enemy stands still. So a lot of games use this. This one has there's a couple of different ways to utilize this into the game. First off, when you turn it off, where is it? When you turn it off, you have total freedom of movement, which means you're starting to move now into world space, not into local space, or not into something's local space. So this local space right here is, as we can see here, I'll lock on. When I'm closing in on him, it doesn't give you the measurements here while you're locked on, but when you're not locked on, it tells you how far away the enemy is from you. So there's usually either a toggle action for this, whether it's a toggle on and off, or a hold down action for this, depending on what the player has for his settings in the gameplay options. Now, this mechanic is like incredibly important, and some of the first games that it came out in were, the first game I ever seen it in was in the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, way back when you had the Z targeting with the Z button on the old N64 controllers, and that dynamic changed a lot of the battling that you could do across that game. I will get deeper into this conversation later, but my time is just about up, guys. So I hope this is a improvement on my last video, and I'm sorry that it was a little bit late. I'm looking forward to the next week of work.